Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about online lecture exams. Now, not everybody, not every semester is going to have this. I kind of kept this in here. If it's in your syllabus, it'll be in your syllabus because you have at least one online lecture exam. If there is no online lecture exam, you could bypass this and go on to the next area, okay? But yeah, so let me just explain to you how the online lecture exams are going to how they're going to occur, okay? You set up the Zoom session first. I'll give you an invitation a few days before the exam date is, okay? You can only use a desktop, laptop, or Chromebook, as I've said before, and make sure you have a strong internet connection, at least 15 megabytes per second, okay? There is a designated time with a small window to begin, whether it's a half an hour that you could come in or an hour. In other words, if I say it's from 12:30 p.m. to 3:05 p.m., I will tell you a few days before when you could come in. You could come in maybe from anywhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, or maybe 12:30 to 1:30, and you'll still get the full time. Okay, so there's that small window. So not everybody. So if you can't make it, I have to work until, let's say, 12:30. I can't make it until 1. That's fine. You could get there at 1 o'clock and start it. Okay, you'll still have the full time. Okay, so that's why I set up that way. There's that small window, so to time. Okay, so try, if you can, try to get there before maybe 15 or 20 minutes before you want to take the exam. Don't arrive 5 minutes before, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, because if you have issues, the internet's not working, you got to restart your computer, that kind of stuff, then it's going to take some time to do that. All right, you're going to click on the Zoom invitation that I gave you. Okay, you'll see, you'll get it. You'll turn on your webcam, mute your microphone, and you're going to direct the webcam towards your face. You'll see me there. Okay, you'll see me there in Zoom. I may ask everybody to pan their webcam 360 degrees so that I could see what's in your area. Okay, I want to make this all. Again, it's not. You could see I did a lot of cutting and pasting, right? So yeah, so it's not A&P, but I don't want any biology resources in your area. Okay, it's making it's respect for your classmates, and it's also making your classmates reassure that if they have to do it, then you have to do it too. Okay, none of my exams are open book. Okay, so set up and taking the Canvas exam. Open the Canvas and go to quizzes at the folder where I showed you on the left-hand column. Open the appropriate exam that you're supposed to take and begin. Okay, I'll usually give a thumbs up to say you're good to go. So go. Okay, I should be always directed towards your monitor at all times. You may not take any photos or any kind of reproduction of any of the questions up there in any form. Okay, you may not visit any websites. If you try to, I get a ding saying that this person's trying to go outside. Then I will shut down your particular exam because you're not supposed to be doing that. Okay. You may not leave the test site. So if you have to do any bathroom stuff, make sure you take care of that, before you sit down to do the exam. Okay. And if there's anything that I feel seems suspicious, really suspicious, I'll stop the exam for you. And then I'll send you an email what I think is happening, and we could converse in a Zoom chat box. Okay. So questions during exam, if you have questions for me during exam, unfortunately, I won't be able to answer any questions. These are for the online students, right? So, or the online exams. I'm there to proctor, and that's the only reason why I'm doing that, all right? I can't be distracted by answering questions. So do the best that you can. Remember, I'm always looking for the best answer, okay? When you finish everything, you don't need to send me a text or anything like that saying, can I leave? Once you do, and it says completed, you could just sign off of both Zoom and Canvas and you're good to go, okay? There's no need to, like I said, alert me. And your grades will usually be posted within 2 hours of when you completed the exam. Okay, so it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. Now, integrity issues for any exams that you take online. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to review the questions to see if you got right or wrong. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. These exams and quizzes are for my other semesters that I teach this over here, and I need to make sure that if someone is going to be looking at it, that they're not going to be taking pictures of the exam questions, and then if they take me again, then they got the answers to it. So I'm not going to be able, you're not going to be able to see that by yourself. So I'm sorry about that in advance. However, we could do one or two different things. If you want us to do a Zoom session and I'm proctoring you as you're looking at your questions online, and I'll be the moderator because I'm going to see the question. I'm going to be saying, okay, you're done with that question. I'll move it up further so you can see the next question. So if you want to do that, you can't take pictures. You cannot take any kind of, when I say notes, you can't be writing like questions and the answers and stuff like that, okay? So you can't do that. The other thing we can do is that if you want, I could review your exam and then I could send you a list through an email of what things you need to study more on by the things you got wrong. So you're not going to be able to review your exam or quiz if it's online by yourself, but with me, I'm okay because I'm proctoring. I'm watching that there's no pictures being taken. There's a list of do's and do not in your syllabus. Read them. They're pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to read them off for you. Just wasting too much time. But make sure you do, and I will remind everybody to read that list before each exam to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to, or you're not doing certain things. I do have a practice online quiz, okay? And I told you about that. The points are not affected. It won't help or hinder your grade. Like I said, it's about 12, it is 12 questions pertaining to simple biology or chemistry that you would have mastered in a high school, okay? It's not about the questions. It's really about being able to get acquainted to my online exams. Okay, and like I said, there are two images that are embedded in the questions, in two of the questions. Make sure you can view them. If you can't, it's more likely you're not using the proper browser. Okay, you could take this as many times as you want to make sure that you can navigate one of my exams. When I say navigate, it's pretty easy. Okay, this one you're allowed to review your answers because it's just a practice online, but you can't review any online exams. Then we have laboratory quizzes, okay? There's 10 lab quizzes, 7 points for each one. So we have, basically there's 7 questions for each one. So it comes to 70 points. If you, right, 7 times 10, you got 70 points. You'll have 10 minutes to take each one. The first 50 points is going to goes towards your cumulative grade for the course. The other remaining 20 points, if you have any, then that will be bonus. Okay, a lot of bonus on this semester. Thursdays, if that's your lab day, all right, you got to go with what your syllabus says. But whatever day we're supposed to meet, we will meet promptly, and it will start. If it starts at 12:30, we will start the quiz at 12:30, and the minutes is going to start ticking then. Okay, so if there's an in-person one, you got to be there on time, okay? Now, here's where I'm saying that you probably won't forget your lab report. You may use your lab report for these quizzes. So guess what? You could write anything you want on your lab reports. The questions are going to pertain to the lab report from the week before, from the lab before, the lab activity from before. So it's going to be about that lab report. So you could put any notes you want on there, to help you. You can't add pages and nothing could be Xeroxed, okay? And it's only for these lab quizzes throughout the semester. You cannot use them for any kind of exam. If you do, it'll be treated as cheating, okay? So it's easy. When you when you turn in your lab quiz after the 10 minutes, you're also going to turn in your lab report. So I don't have to go chasing people. You don't have to start chasing me. If you don't have the lab report, then you just, that's it. You lose points on the lab report. Okay. If you forgot it, you forgot it. I can't tell you about that. Okay. So I won't accept any lab reports later than that time. All right. It needs to be done, you know, the next lab day. Okay. And like I said, any late one, you get a 0. The lab tests, okay. The lab tests, there's only one lab test. It's called a practical exam. Now, I'll tell you more about this as we get closer to it. It's towards the end of the semester. It's one practical exam. We call it a lab practical exam because there's going to be something in front of you. Basically, how it works is that you're going to have it's going to deal with all 10 labs. There's going to be questions about that. And it's actually, you're going from station to station, and it has to be an in-person exam. So you're going to go at one place. There's going to be 3 questions. You answer those 3 questions. You have like a minute and a half, and everyone will then switch over to the next station. And the whole room will have a different station. Once everybody goes through all that, it takes about an hour to do, then the test is over, okay? Again, I'll tell you more about that later. But that you cannot make that up because the setting up is real pain in the neck to do. So we're not going to do that, and it can't be dropped.